Hey y'all, thanks for clicking on my video. Welcome to my channel. You can call me Miss Sweet Tang. um, I created this channel, because Sergeant Cole told me to. So here I am, here's my channel. I originally wanted to call this just Sweet Tang, because I grew up drinking Tang, and this diet is, or protocol fasting, I should say correctly, is, or way of life, just embracing sugar. It's taken me back to my childhood, and I drank a lot of Tang when I was a kid. So anyway, if y'all have ever drank Tang, if you miss it, it's at Walmart. It's right next to the Country Time lemonade. I'm sure Sugar Punch knows where it is. So anyway, yeah, so just a quick summary or rundown of me and where what my experience in diets and weight loss and such and nutrition has been really quickly. So about early in my early mid 20s or so, I started experimenting with juicing, smoothies, and at the time I was running around, dabbling in some hippy dippy stuff like essential oils and making lotions and potions and stuff. So a lot of this really kind of vibed with me. I bought my first juicer on my television set when I had the rabbit ears. Yes, the rabbit ears with the old original Jack LaLanne power juicer when he was doing his infomercials. Good times. Wow. I've read reviews of some of these newer power juicers of the Jack LaLanne style ones are not very good. Apparently the motors run out or something, but hey, they just don't make them like they used to. Jack LaLanne, quite the legend. In fact, he's probably one of the biggest names that would also be very prominent in this type of dieting or way of eating, because he was very active, an athlete. He did eat his meats, I believe, but he was very big on juicing, which was, yes, sugar, but he was also getting a lot of those micronutrients. He lived up to his like 95, 96 or something. Anyway, yeah, rest in peace, Jack LaLanne. So later on into about my my mid 30s or so, I started experimenting with vegan diets, and that was when I discovered, of course, Freely and Durian Rider on YouTube, and a lot of the early vegans on YouTube. That was a lot of fun. Like, I started playing around with like the Raw Till 4 diet, and just embracing a lot of the vegan raw foods. And I learned a lot from that. The Raw Till 4 was really difficult for me to do. I loved the fruits, don't get me wrong, I loved all of the food, but I just couldn't stick to it. And then I started doing starch solution from Dr. McDougall. I really enjoyed that. Loved potatoes. I probably was getting more fat than I needed. It was very difficult for me to lose weight. Yeah. Now I can enjoy carrot juice. Love this. Yeah. So I had a really difficult time getting the weight off. And over the last summer I was doing it, I had cut the fat down really, really low. I was doing a lot of juices and a lot of smoothies. And then I started, I believe, having some panic attacks. I don't know if it was related per se to my diet, because I'm going to be realistic here, because I was also working a stressful corporate job. And that's also something that's really important to factor into your lifestyle. But I had heard Dan the Life Regenerator talk about adding fats back in, how it just calmed his hormones down. Of course, that's, we don't know per se if that's the science, but fats do respond, our body responds, our hormones respond to everything we eat. Everything, right? Endocrine system runs everything. Well, I added back in bacon and cream cheese, and yes, I calmed down a lot, and I felt better. And so I decided I was going to go back to Atkins, low carb, and I stuck with it. It was still a challenge to get and keep the weight off. But then later on, I discovered HCG diet. Yes, I did that. The weight came off. Loved it. Looked like a real dish with my weight off. But then, yes, it came right back because I didn't change my eating habits. I've done phentermine. Yes, I've done that. I've done carnivore. I've done keto. The thing I hate about keto, I love Jell-O, but I hated the sugar-free Jell-O. Yes. Because eating aspartame and fake sugar just never sat well with me. And of course, aspartame is a chemical. It is very bad for your brain. No one should eat it. It is not fit for human consumption at all. Fast forward, I had spent a lot of years doing low carb, keto, carnivore diets over, within that whole realm of just low carbohydrate for probably way too long. I wasted a lot of years. Probably, dieting and just trying to keep the weight off at least probably 10 years. This will be honest, but probably over 10 years. There are especially a lot of women. It's really something that we're pushed to just keep the weight off. And so women in general go through a whole lifetime of restriction, right? Restriction and guilt and shame that is attached to food and dieting to stay slim. Not only to look good, but to feel good about ourselves. And so fast forward to this year, but I started craving fruits and vegetables again, and I said, to hell with it. I threw in the towel on keto and carnivore. I was already a subscriber of Kohl's. I had attempted to do the snake diet before. Again, that was really difficult. I couldn't stick to anything primarily because of my job. I had tried to do the fasting before, the snake diet fasting before, but it was so challenging for me to stick to something like that when I'm working a stressful job. On top of that, I'm also a coffee drinker, right? Yes, another factor that has to go into the calculation, not just what you're eating. So I threw in the towel on keto this year. I am not looking back. I have really missed a lot of my fruits and vegetables and enjoying rice and potatoes. Not every meal, not every day, but I've been acclimating back to embracing them. So, yeah. I have been attempting to do the sugar fasting protocol strictly for days, but I have failed so far. I've been able to do the sugar all day, and in the evening, I've always been craving starches. However, it doesn't mean that I have, I'm not counting my weight loss per se right now. So, because what my measure of success right now is, I'm off coffee. Yeah, I'm off caffeine. I've been wanting to quit caffeine for so many years. I first started adding in the sugar and embracing the fruits and vegetables. And as I've been listening to Cole more and love being yelled at, yes, I'm a fatty. Hey, takes one to know one, right? I guess. I have a physical job right now. I'm on my feet all day. I'm a massage therapist. So yes, very physical job. Working at a spa, that takes a lot. I could do a lot of this work before when I was low carb, but I was still dragging my ass, always needing my coffee, tired and sluggish and lethargic, and still struggling with, other issues. So since I've been adding sugar with my juice, and I've really been enjoying it, about 3 weeks ago, I finally quit coffee. And over that time, I switched to matcha. I've been drinking matcha with sugar in it. And then finally, as of 4 days ago, I am completely zero caffeine free. And I'm really excited about that. But to me, that is a non-scale victory. That is a huge win. Huge. Because how can anybody go through life enjoying their life when your cortisol is so high? But also, as a woman, I have to understand what they talk about, ladies, that you may or may not know about this, but when they talk about pregnenolone steal, or I think it's progesterone steal, where your body your adrenals will steal pregnenolone hormone or progesterone hormone, which progesterone is calming to create cortisol. Yes. So getting the cortisol under control for me is really important. I'm starting to get on a good sleep cycle. I am still doing sugar during the day. I have been doing a little bit of starch, but as of today, I'm trying to really cut that and just stick to sugar and try to get at least 3 to 5 days of pure sugar fasting under my belt. I have experience with the Master Cleanse. I have done that before, and I really liked it. The weight does come off, but that one's kind of a pain in the ass because you always have to keep making the drink, right? With the maple syrup and the cayenne. And I mean, it's delicious. I love the cayenne pepper. In fact, I highly recommend you try it because it does seem to crush the hunger, but you can still add a ton more maple syrup than what the recipe suggests because we need more of the sugar calories for energy. So that's where I'm at today. My weight, I didn't weigh myself today. Last time I weighed myself was about 183, I believe. So yeah, I'm really excited to get on this journey, and thank you for listening. If you've gotten this far, ladies, let's do this together. I highly recommend getting off the coffee and the caffeine. Being liberated from that is actually going to change your life. I know it's going to change mine the further I go to heal and to get my cortisol levels under control. We've been gaslit long enough to think that sugar is an addiction. The natural desire to eat sugar is not an addiction. But all of these people that are telling us that we're addicted to sugar are sitting there addicted to caffeine and coffee and taking stimulants and other drugs, probably. And it's time that we really just stop this nonsense. As Susan Powter would say, stop the insanity. Thank you guys. I'm Miss Sweet Tang. We'll see you soon. Bye.